Melech Yisrael, Chai, Chai, V'kayam David Melech. Hey, Shabbat Shalom. Oh my gosh. Phew. What a journey. I'm just coming from a huge trip. Oh my gosh. This trip was a big trip. It was 3 weeks, almost a month of travel from one place to another, from one zone to another. What a trip. My friends, I'm tired, but I'm also invigorated because this trip gave me a lot of spirit, energy, and rejuvenation. You know how to spell that, J-E-W. What trip am I talking about? Where did Zalman go for the last couple of weeks? I have good news, my friends. You joined me on the same trip. For the last month, we were on a trip together. And I am so excited, my friends. Today, following the few days after Simchat Torah, I am delighted to unpack the packages from this incredible journey that we had together. Because you see, my friends, the truth is that in the Jewish calendar we find something fascinating, and that is that after such a busy month of holidays, the following month of Cheshvan is very, very quiet. In fact, it's the only month in the Jewish calendar with no holidays. And the question is, why? Why do we go from such a contrast, from a month of so much holiday joy, energy, and spirit, to a month full of so many weekday, mundane, regular days? And the answer is, my friends, because now's the time when we have to unpack the packages. We had an incredible month with so much inspiration, but now it's when it's most important. We have to unpack it all. I think a good way to think about this is my 4-year-old is learning how to drive a bicycle. And of course, she started off with her training wheels. The training wheels feels great. You're going nice and smooth. But then comes the time when I take off her training wheels. And she's going crazy. Oy vey, I'm going to fall. I'm afraid. But that's the whole point. Because when you take off the training wheel is when you really start to ride. The last few weeks was so inspiring. Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur, Sukkot, Simchas Torah, but that was all training wheels. That was all inspiration given to us from above. But now's the time when God wants us to unpack the packages, take off the training wheels, and get to work. So join me on this journey. We begin, of course, with Rosh Hashanah. Rosh Hashanah this year was absolutely amazing. I must tell you, we were so privileged on campus to host over 14 events in a 48-hour period. We had so many students who came to celebrate with us with the apples and the honey and, of course, blowing the shofar. But I must tell you, one moment that I will carry with me from Rosh Hashanah was I walked around 8 miles to visit students and blow the shofar for them. And it was at the end of the holiday, and I was so tired, and the sun's about to set, and I'm walking down campus, and all of a sudden I hear, Shana Tova! And I look up, and I see from the 3rd floor of the apartment, a student reached out and said, Rabbi, I also want to hear the shofar. That was a moment that inspired me. Let's move on to Yom Kippur. The inspiration, the power, the energy, the prayers that we felt, how hard we prayed on Yom Kippur. One moment for me on Yom Kippur, during our many services that we held, was when Yizkar services came around. There were 2 students left in the synagogue. Thankfully, only 2 students had to say Yizkar. But they were there alone, without their family, both freshmen, miles away from home. It was so special to see, as they both stood here holding the Torah, saying a prayer for their beloved fathers, how they turned to each other and showed support, gave each other a hug. We here for each other. That was a powerful moment for me. And then, of course, we move on to the joyous days of Sukkot. When we shake the etrog, we had 11 different events during the holiday of Sukkot. One of the most powerful moments for me was I came to a dorm with the sukkah truck, and I saw a Jewish girl. I said, Mackenzie, she want to come on the sukkah. Not only she came, she schlepped along all her non-Jewish friends too, and so proudly explained to them what the holiday is all about. To me, that was a real moment of Jewish pride. And finally, my friends, of course, we come to Simchat Torah. Come dance with the Torah. What a joyful holiday. On the night of the holiday, after taking a couple of shots, I took the Torah and I went down to different apartments and fraternities to dance with the different Jewish students. And one moment that really touched my heart was I went into a home and somebody said, there's a Jewish kid downstairs in the basement. And with the Holy Torah, I went down the steps and I banged on the door of his room and I opened the door and nobody was there. So I shouted out, Happy Simchas Torah! And at that moment, the door of the closet opened and out he came hiding in the closet perhaps, not ready for that joy, feeling down. But then, when he sensed that energy of the spirit of the holiday, he jumped out and he celebrated. So my friends, that's my story. What's yours? Take the inspiration of the holiday, bring it forth for the coming month. Shabbat Shalom, and keep climbing.